toddlers to sleep that officials say could save their lives.
They told me that she had passed away, and I just held her until I couldn't hold her anymore.
Eviana McGee's baby died in her sleep. She wants to make sure this doesn't happen to other parents. But research from the Interagency Council on Child Abuse and Neglect, also known as ICAN, shows an alarming reality.
More babies under 1 are dying from suffocation due to unsafe sleeping than all accidental deaths of children under age 14.
LA County Fire and Paramedics.
She's not breathing. She's not breathing.
To better educate parents and caregivers on the proper way to put a baby to sleep to avoid suffocation, ICAN unveiled its first county-wide Safe Sleep for Baby public education campaign at the California Hospital Medical Center in downtown. The message is simple.
Back to sleep, on the back, not on the side, because what happens when you're on your side? You fall over. No stuffed animals. We're going to get rid of those.
Accidental suffocation poses the greatest risk for babies from the day they're born to the age of 1.
These babies are placed to sleep in high-risk environments by very well-meaning, loving parents.
According to this study conducted by ICAN, 1 baby dies every 5 days in LA County from sleep-related suffocation. That's about 69 babies each year.
That's 69 too many healthy babies who died as a result of unsafe sleep practices, and it's 100% preventable.
It's a silent death that can happen within seconds.
This is simply an issue of education.
The Safe Sleep campaign aims to provide this knowledge to avoid parents waking up to tragedy. From the California Hospital Medical Center, I'm Cindy San Luis for LA This Week.
For more information, visit the Safe Sleep for Baby campaign website at safesleepforbaby.com. Worldwide leaders of the maritime industry convened in downtown LA to hear a progress report on the future of the Port of LA, its expansion plans, and job creation. Gil Reyes reports from the International Conference of Ports and Harbors.
Bollywood dancers kicked off the program, setting the stage for this international gala. But attention turned local to the Port of Los Angeles when the mayor took center stage.
Over the next 5 years, we'll invest about $1.5 billion to provide superior shipping and logistics.
This conference at the JW Marriott brings together representatives from over 200 world ports. Among the biggest concerns facing our own ports of LA and Long Beach is the widening of the Panama Canal, which promises increased competition from many of the ports represented here.
Once the Panama Canal is widened to accommodate larger ships like this one, these megaships would have other options besides Southern California. They could take shortcuts and offload cargo in Houston, New Orleans, or New York. But Los Angeles is countering with plans to expand local terminals to accommodate these larger ships while creating jobs.
And it's not just your usual capital development, but more importantly, it's sustainable development.
What we're doing in LA, they're going to do on the ports all along in California. They're going to do it on the West Coast. They're going to do it on the East Coast. They're going to do it in countries around the world.
And so the race is on to stay ahead of the curve before the Panama Canal's expansion is completed in 2015. For LA This Week, I'm Gil Reyes.
The mayor also touted improvements at the Port of Los Angeles during his 8-year term, including increased port traffic despite the recession and reduced emissions. And over at the Los Angeles International Airport, change is also taking place. And part of the ongoing improvement project at LAX is the arrival of new upscale restaurants that showcase Los Angeles as a culinary destination. Anita Bennett takes us to the grand opening of B Grill by Boa Steakhouse.
There's a new spot at Los Angeles International Airport to enjoy a little gourmet food on the go.
What this is basically a cafe version of Boa, where we trimmed it down a little bit. It's kind of like Boa Light. That's why we called it B Grill by Boa Steakhouse.
Boa, a popular Los Angeles chain, has locations in West Hollywood, Santa Monica, and now Terminal 7 at LAX.
We have 3,500 square feet of space that is really upscale and beautiful and allows passengers passengers to feel like they're in a first-class area, first-class lounge, without actually having to be in a lounge space.
Passengers say they like what they see.
The logo and everything when you walked up is really inviting, and so that's kind of what drew us this way, and the food was great.
We had a BLT, it was amazing, and the French onion soup, which was really good as well.
B-Grill by BOA is part of an ongoing effort to bring more local flavor to LAX.
It really is a door opener so that people can see what Los Angeles has to offer and the type of city that we are. So it's really representative of who we are and where we're going as a city.
The menu is made up of some of the chain's most popular items.
It has a lot of signature dishes that we have at BOA, such as the BOA Chop Chop or the BOA Burger, even has some steaks.
The entrees here range from $12 to $40, and while that's not cheap for airport food, the customers we talked to say it was worth the price. In Terminal 7 at LAX, I'm Anita Bennett for LA This Week.
Executives at the new restaurant say sales are already exceeding expectations. Local cyclists receive help from above at the annual Blessing of the Bicycles during Bike LA Week. As Gil Reyes reports, one councilman was also honored for years of service to the cycling community.
Episcopal Reverend Jerry Anderson splashes holy water on cyclists who know too well the risks on the road.
Such as potholes, doors opening on them, glass in the street, and other things that it's easy for a car to pass by, but it's really, really difficult. It's challenging for bicyclists, so you have to give them a little bit more leeway.
A little help from above doesn't hurt either. This multi-faith Blessing of the Bicycles event takes place every year at Good Samaritan Hospital in Los Angeles.
We could all use some extra protection while we're out there.
This 10th annual Blessing of the Bicycles coincides with Bike Week Los Angeles, which encourages people to bike or walk to work if they can. And this year is extra special because it honors an outgoing city councilman for his years of service to the biking community. Councilmember Bill Rosendahl, who couldn't attend, is honored with this year's Golden Spoke Award for his work in promoting bike safety. He's championed a city ordinance that makes it illegal for drivers to harass cyclists. He's also helped lead LA's Bicycle Master Plan through the legislative process. That plan is expected to connect 1,700 miles of bikeways when complete.
There's no question that we have a long way to go. But what a tremendous road we've traveled and how far we've come.
Besides uniting the cycling community, this event has also reunited Councilmember Tom LaBonge with a long-lost cousin.
I haven't seen him in 40 or 50 years. Yeah, they live way out in the valley. So that's what bikes does. It brings families together.
So a prayer for safety, one for the road. At Good Samaritan Hospital, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Councilmember Bill Rosendahl, who opted not to run for re-election, will be leaving office this summer as council member of the West Side District. Our city boasts many iconic buildings and landmarks whose origins you may not know. As Rasha Goel tells us, Los Angeles recently honored a man who came to this country as an immigrant, but who left a big imprint on our city.
Local landmarks such as the LA Coliseum, LA City Hall, and Bullock's Wilshire represent one man's contributions to the City of Angels. And our city recently gave back by posthumously honoring renowned architect John B. Parkinson with his own day.
This guy was a hero. So we salute John Parkinson today as an architect who's part of Brit Week here in the city of Los Angeles.
Brit Week, which highlights the connections between Great Britain and California, made for perfect timing to honor the British architect.
We also are extremely conscious of the extraordinary role that Brits have performed in the development of the city of Los Angeles over the years.
Author Stephen G., who has written a book about the British architect, was also recognized during the ceremony.
No other architect more deserves this honor, and it's long, long overdue.
While Parkinson hailed from England, he made a name for himself in Los Angeles in the early 20th century as the premier architect.
John Parkinson's work was integral to early Los Angeles history. His majestic buildings allowed the city to develop into the commercial, social, and cultural powerhouse that it is today. We are so fortunate that these buildings survive and grace our streets still.
John Parkinson passed away in 1935, but left a large imprint in the city of Los Angeles. He and his son designed over 400 buildings, such as Union Station. Over 50 of them still remain. In Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
You can find out more about the life and work of John Parkinson in Stephen G's book, Iconic Vision, John Parkinson, Architect of Los Angeles. Each year, one council member honors hardworking students in his district with a special luncheon and awards presentation. Anna Marcos takes us to the Adelante Awards ceremony.
Go on, slowly open, Ian. Show them that this is okay.
Magic tricks were part of the fun at the 10th Annual Adelante Awards, but there's no magic trick to how these bright students got here. Each year, the Adelante Awards honor the top 2 students from every school in Jose Huizar's 14th Council District. Huizar tells the audience what inspired him to launch the awards event.
I remember as a young boy going to school, it was those recognitions that I received that encouraged me and inspired me to continue doing well in school.
Students in each school are picked by teachers and principals, not only for their academic performance, but their service to the community.
It's always that pride that you have in your school, and just being proud of myself and just keep going.
We feel proud of her. I mean, this is an accomplishment that, not all the people get. She's a smart little girl, and hopefully, she'll go to college and accomplish whatever she wants in life.
There was even a scholarship for the highest GPA.
Congratulations, Kai, and this is a $500 scholarship.
You're amongst the best of the best, the cream of the crop, and we hope you can continue to go on and do great things.
And tonight, about 150 of these awards will sit proudly on the mantelpiece at home, encouraging the young superachievers to achieve greater things yet. That, after all, is the idea. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
A popular park and local landmark prepares to reopen. A tunnel is transformed into an underground art gallery, and a reward offered in a fatal hit-and-run case. These stories and more in City Beat. It isn't quite done yet, but Echo Park Lake and the park surrounding it will reopen to the public on Saturday, June 15th. The park was closed in 2011 for a comprehensive rehabilitation funded by Prop O, the nation's largest local clean water initiative. The rehabilitation will help remedy stormwater and urban runoff pollution to meet state water quality standards. But the work won't just help the environment. City leaders say it will also allow for the lake's iconic lotus flowers to once again bloom. It's an unexpected art space, this underground tunnel at 3400 North Figueroa Street in Cypress Park. But Councilmember Ed Reyes worked with the owner of Antigua Coffee House to transform what was a closed pedestrian tunnel linking the coffee shop to Nightingale Middle School into a vibrant underground art gallery. Reyes secured $8,000 to have the Bureau of Street Lighting repair lighting inside the tunnel. Volunteers helped paint the inside of the tunnel. While there's no art hanging there now, the tunnel will be open to the public to coincide with the Northeast Los Angeles Art Walk, held the second Saturday of each month. Councilmember Paul Krikorian has announced a $50,000 reward for information that could lead to the apprehension of suspects sought in a fatal hit-and-run incident in Valley Glen. Police say on March 24th of this year, 18-year-old David Granados was killed after a car hit him as he rode his bicycle on Bel Air Avenue at Oxnard Street. Granados died in a hospital the next day. If you have any information, you're asked to call 877-LAPD 24/7. 1,000 high school students from 24 Southern California schools participated in this year's 24th annual Los Angeles Master Chorale's High School Choir Festival held at the Walt Disney Concert Hall. The event, held at the end of last month, was part of a year-long in-school outreach program. The Choir Festival is one of the largest high school choir gatherings in the nation. The schools from the Los Angeles Unified School District that participated were Grant, Ramon Cortines, Venice, Narbonne, and Taft High Schools. The St. Andrews Recreation Center recently got a major makeover, improvements that officials hope will benefit the whole community. Yana Kay reports.
These kids are running basketball drills and getting some tips from LA Clippers basketball players Roni Turiaf, Eric Bledsoe, and Willie Green. It's all part of a special event to celebrate several upgrades to the St. Andrews Recreation Center in South Los Angeles.
I think it's great. We come here a lot, and it was a little messy when there was sand everywhere. So now that they have renovated it and given it that soft ground, it's great. I can see them jumping and they're not falling and hurting themselves, which I've seen before.
The Clippers organization, as part of its FIT program, which promotes health and wellness, along with the Department of Recreation and Parks, the California Endowment, the City of Los Angeles, and other private corporations partnered to refurbish 3 Los Angeles parks.
We came out here and we built this park for you. This is about you. We want you to come out here. We want you to have fun. We want you to stay healthy, and we want you to take care of this park.
Some of the upgrades include new basketball courts, a new fitness zone, and a refurbished playground with a rubber surface. And these kids couldn't wait to try it out. All in an effort to encourage fitness, good nutrition, and a healthy and active lifestyle.
What we want to do is provide a place for our kids in the community of Los Angeles to have a safe place to come and play.
Every parent here, every child here knows that you need physical activity to be healthy, physical activity to have a happy life.
A ribbon cutting made it official, marking the transformation of an old park into a bright gathering and activity spot for all to enjoy. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
And in this week's list of things to do, a classic film about a newspaper tycoon, a documentary that's all about Venice, and catching a stage performance while waiting for the metro train. It's a classic movie every movie buff should see and see again. The 1941 Warner Brothers film Citizen Kane will be playing Saturday, May 25th at 7:30 p.m. at the Egyptian Theater, located at 6712 Hollywood Boulevard. Orson Welles was only 25 when he directed this masterpiece and remains one of the most phenomenal motion pictures ever made. Welles also stars as Charles Foster Kane, a ruthless man who built a newspaper publishing empire who was supposedly modeled after the real-life William Randolph Hearst. For ticket information, go to americancinematheque.com. And for a totally different kind of film experience, head on over to Beyond Baroque in Venice on Saturday, May 25th from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. to catch the high-def documentary Venice Souvenir about the people, places, and things in Venice, Los Angeles. Watch over 40 different stories about shopping on Abbot Kinney Boulevard, boardwalk performers, surfing and roller skating in the Venice Beach area, and more. Beyond Baroque Literary Arts Center is located at 681 Venice Boulevard. Go to beyondbaroque.org for ticket information. And here's a unique way to enjoy the theater. The Meet Me at Metro 4 program is bringing stage performances to you at the Metro stations. On Saturday and Sunday, May 25th and 26th, the Watts Village Theater Company will be staging shows at noon and again at 1 p.m. near the 103rd and Rosa Parks stations along the Blue Line in Watts. Each performance piece, which explores the subjective theme of home with musical accompaniment, will run about half an hour. The 103rd Metro station is located at 10100 Grandee Avenue, and the Rosa Parks station is located at 11611 Willowbrook Avenue in Watts. Go to Meet Me at Metro 4 at eventbrite.com for ticket and other information. And that's a look at some upcoming things to do. She's a funny lady who's getting the last laugh. Known best for her namesake show, The Carol Burnett Show, the comedian is now being honored by the city of Los Angeles with her own namesake square. She's seen her name in lights and even her likeness painted on this mural on the east wall of her alma mater, Hollywood High School. And now right outside the school at Highland and Selma Avenues, the award-winning actress, comedian, and best-selling author Carol Burnett has an intersection named in her honor.
I went to Hollywood High School on Highland here, and I went to Selma Avenue Grammar School. And so that's a thrill. This was my neighborhood. I grew up here. These I went to all the movies here with my grandmother on Hollywood Boulevard, and I just hope she's up there somewhere looking down and being as proud as I am today.
Burnett celebrated the unveiling of Carol Burnett Square with her signature ear tug, and by doing what she's done for decades, posing for the cameras. And judging from the shouts from the media, Burnett, at the age of 80, still hasn't lost her appeal.
Someone so special, who's so international, who everyone loves, is a graduate of Hollywood High, who everyone admires, who took generations of people to points of family entertainment that was never seen before.
Indeed, Burnett made millions laugh with The Carol Burnett Show, which aired from 1967 to 1978. But on this day, the funny lady was reduced to tears of joy when students from Hollywood High School paid tribute to her and her career with a moving song.
Keep the dream alive, don't let it die. It was something deep inside, keeps inspiring you to try. Don't stop and never give up. Don't ever give up on you.
Burnett never did give up and succeeded in show business beyond her wildest imagination. But Carol Burnett has always been more than just a funny lady. She's also an inspiration for the next generation of entertainers. Most recently, Burnett, who turned 80 on April 26th, became a best-selling author with a memoir about her late daughter, Carrie Hamilton. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. A reminder that you could catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
Visions that can change the world, trapped inside an ordinary girl. She looks just like me, too afraid to dream out loud. And though it's set for your idea, it won't make sense to everybody. You need courage now, if you're gonna persevere.
Clean water means playing in green parks. There's more to Garvanza Park than meets the eye. Beneath my feet are big cisterns that collect water from the storm drain when it rains. These clean and capture the storm water and use them for two things: water this park and recharge the groundwater. That way, we conserve potable water and keep our water sources alive. Oh, and we get a nice green park to enjoy too.
Don't worry, Patty. This isn't going to hurt me one bit. Hi, I'm Dr. Eric Shapiro in beautiful Encino, and you're watching LA City View, Channel 35. Our city, our channel. Open wide.
want to thank members Richard Alacon, Joe Buscaino, Mitchell Englander, Mayor-elect Eric Garcetti, Paul Koretz, Ed Reyes, and Dennis Zine. Good morning. It is Friday, May 24th. I want to welcome you to your Los Angeles City Council meeting. This council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. We do not have a quorum just yet, but we could start our program today. Mr. Buscaino, are you ready? Okay, we're going to start with the presentation section, and then I will go to Mr. Reyes. So, Mr. Buscaino.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mr. President. The week of May 19th to 25th is National Public Works Week in North America and in the city of Los Angeles. National Public Works Week is observed every year during the third full week of May to raise public awareness of public works issues and to increase public confidence in public works employees who are dedicated to improving the quality of life for present and future generations. The American Public Works Association instituted the week in 1960 as a public education campaign to call attention to the importance of public works in community life and to enhance the prestige of the often unsung heroes of our society, the professionals who serve the public good every day with quiet dedication. National Public Works Week celebrates the many men and women who provide and maintain the infrastructure and services collectively known as public works. The City of Los Angeles Department of Public Works is the city's third largest department, comprised of more than 5,000 employees responsible for the construction, renovation, and operation of city facilities and infrastructure. The Department of Public Works' 5 bureaus, contract administration, engineering, sanitation, street lighting, and street services, build city streets, install sewers and public lights, and construct storm drains, public buildings, rights-of-way, and service facilities. Our public works employees truly are our unsung heroes in the city of Los Angeles. It's so easy to take them for granted because we're so accustomed to the infrastructure and services they provide. Today, colleagues, I asked to take a minute and imagine what Los Angeles would be like if toilets don't flush, our trash didn't get picked up, stormwater didn't drain to the ocean, there were no streets, no sidewalks, no inspectors to oversee private contractors, no engineers to safely design public facilities, and no street lights. Imagine that, colleagues. Simply put, our public works infrastructure and the employees that maintain it make Los Angeles livable. And on behalf, as Chair of the Public Works Committee, on behalf of the entire committee and the entire City Council, I would like to say thank you to the Board of Public Works, President Capri Maddox, Commissioner Valerie Shaw, Commissioner Steve Nutter, Commissioner Geraldine Lopez Mendoza, Commissioner Warren Furatani, the Director of Bureau of Street Services, Nazario Salceda, our City Engineer, Gary Lee Moore, Director of Bureau of Street Lighting, Ed Abramian, John Reamer, our Inspector of Public Works, and Enrique Saldivar, the Director of Bureau of Sanitation. And most importantly, thank you to the thousands of men and women in the Public Works Department who work tirelessly day in and day out to make Los Angeles a great place to live. I was on a workout, I was on a run early morning a couple weeks ago, and I'll share with you this quick story, then I'll bring up some speakers. A Department of Sanitation employee was picking up trash, and as the container, the black container, came over the overhead of the truck, trash spilled out on the other end, spilling onto the street, where I saw this Department of Sanitation employee get out of his truck, took the time, did his job with compassion and commitment, picked up the trash and put it back where it belonged. And I sent a letter and thanking him for that commitment. That was just one example of the commitment and dedication of our employees in the Public Works Department do day in and day out. With that, I want to invite our Capri Maddox Public Works Commissioner.
Let me interrupt you, Mr.
Yes,
Buscaino.
Yes.
I have members on the queue. I'd like to go to Ed Reyes.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to stand and acknowledge and thank the commissioners for all the great work, all the public work projects. When you look at the bridges being built, when you look at the magnificent changes in how we engage each other, I see Bureau of Sanitation now working with Bureau of Engineering, working with, all the departments. The silos are finally opening up. Bridges are being created between the departments, the divisions, and that makes a big difference in our city. An example, when we look at these new pockets that we're developing along the river, we are intercepting the trash. We are filtering out the debris. We are now rejuvenating our aquifer. We're cleaning our riverway, which in turn allows our ocean to breathe. This is just the beginning. It's a whole new day for this giant mega center we call Los Angeles. It's because of your hard work.
Yes.
Public Works staff, commissioners, and the leadership that you all, I wish I had the list to name everybody behind you, council member, because each one of you plays a significant role, and that's something that I will always treasure and seen happen in my past 12 years. So thank you so much for your great work.
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. Any other speakers, Mr. President?
Mr. Englander.
Mitchell.
Great. Thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Buscaino, for bringing Public Works forward today. It's so important. When I started working in the city for Councilman Smith, when he took office, he sat down with the council president at the time, and it was asked, what committee do you want to chair? He said, well, public safety is the cornerstone, and I use that line often, the cornerstone of our city, but Public Works is the foundation. That is what protects the quality of life in communities. That is what we have to deal with every single day. Everything in Public Works, you might not call 911 every day. You might not hopefully need a police officer or a paramedic every day, but you rely on Public Works each and every day, all day, to ensure that your streets are paved. 28,000 lane miles of streets in the city of LA. And you can, by the way, for those that don't know, it's 26,000 miles to go around the earth. If you start thinking about the infrastructure that we've got here in Los Angeles, it's massive. And it takes an army, and it takes a village to do what we do and to do what you do, and the men and women of the departments. It's just incredible, and it's extraordinary. And we know full well that we, over years, the city of LA, have not funded Public Works to what they need to be. And we need to make sure that Public Works, that foundation, this becomes a house of cards if that foundation isn't strong. And we have to ensure that we invest every single dollar we can into fixing our infrastructure, into trimming our trees, into maintaining our stormwaters. Mr. Reyes has done so much work on cleaning up the LA River, and everything he's done is just incredible. It's a legacy. If we all walk out of here with some kind of legacy and we've done something that forever changed the city of LA in public works, it will forever be remembered and appreciated and make the community a better place for our grandchildren. I had the pleasure of working with Mr. Smith and working with the Bureau of Sanitation for years in writing and co-authoring Renew LA, which will finally end our dependency on landfills and end the practice of throwing our trash into the ground and burying it and forgetting about it, where we can actually reuse and utilize our waste stream as a beneficial economic benefit and help clean the environment. If you start talking about all the things that the Board of Public Works does under amazing leadership with an incredible president and dedicated public servants, it's extraordinary because you don't truly get what you deserve financially. And that's what the city constantly gets beaten up for. They get beaten up because we don't put enough into resources, and we need to do that. And so I want to thank you very much for your presentation, bring everybody forward, and give you all my appreciation and round of applause. Thank you.
Mr. Huizar.
Thank you. Just very, very briefly, I could not let this opportunity go by without thanking each and every one of you from the Board of Public Works on down. My office has worked with you in the last 6.5 years that I've been a council member. When I became committee chair, Mr. Buscaino, I met with these individuals even more than not, and I got to see a group of dedicated people, and I think we have some of the best people in this country that work for public works. And like Mr. Englander said, we have very limited resources, but you guys stretch that dollar. You guys do everything you can to make sure this city delivers some of the most basic services that we need. This country indeed is not, as Mr. Englander mentioned, investing in public infrastructure as we should. But, you know, we're doing great things, from the 6th Street Bridge to taking care of cleaner water. You guys are doing a phenomenal job from the Board of Works on down. So congratulations to all of you. Thank you for the work you do each and every day. Well deserved. Thank you, Mr. Bueno, for bringing this to our attention. Thank you.
Right. Okay, before I call on my next speaker, I'd like to present to you the council member-elect of the 13th District, Mitch O'Farrell.
All right. All right.
Thank you all very much. I'll be very brief. I'm so proud and honored to be looking at being seated here on July 1st. It's a thrill, an honor, a pleasure. It's everything. I'm just so excited. And I look forward to serving the district and the city of Los Angeles to the best of everyone's ability. Thank you so much.
Okay, Mitch, and congratulations. So, from this moment on, Mr. O'Farrell, you will be referred to as Mitch. So that means Mitchell. Mitchell, you're stuck with Mitchell. He hates when I call him that.
I've been called worse, Mr. President.
And probably by me. If I could have Richard Alarcon.
Where were we? I too want to stand and commend the Public Works Department. You know, this department is a department that gets a beating because everybody wants their trees trimmed, they want their streets paved, their potholes repaired. But that is not your fault. The fact is that your budget has been trimmed more than the trees have been trimmed, and unfortunately, it's really caused a lot of cynicism in our communities. But they should know that the Public Works Department has incredible people who do phenomenal things. I was glad Dion, our city attorney, was telling me that he was glad that Mitch told us that little factoid about 26,000 miles around the earth because Tom LaBonge is in here, so somebody had to do it. And but he was saying that he talked about public safety and that you're the infrastructure, but but you are public safety. And when you think about some of the things you do that nobody else wants to do, picking up the trash, picking up dead animals from the street, wastewater treatment, these are not glamorous things, but they are so essential to making Los Angeles a vibrant urban city. And I've always said that the very first impression that you get of any city has everything to do with what their public works department is doing and how well they're doing it. I want to personally thank you. I also want to just mention that we just went through this incredible exclusive franchise process with to pick up commercial trash, and what a complex, complicated issue with constituencies of interest all over the place, and challenges that are enormous. I have to say your staff did a phenomenal job of sorting through that and coming up with, I think, a really tremendous proposal that's going to improve our environment, improve the way we pick up trash, and make our general public more appreciative of the way we handle their waste. So again, kudos to the entire department. I think we're in good hands with our leadership there. I hope that the new mayor will take that into consideration as we move forward. But mainly I wanted to thank those that are not on the highest ranks, but those that do the day in and day out work, the great work of the Public Works Department. And I only hope that after I leave in a couple of weeks, or a few weeks, okay, 4 or 5 weeks, that we'll find a way to give you the resources that you so badly need to make our city even better. Thank you.
Thank you. So you did do a Mitch Englander. Miss Perry.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And Public Works is the lifeblood of all that we do, in the way that people's neighborhoods look, feel, and how they experience their lives on a daily basis. And so I love the entire department, but in particular, I want to highlight Ms. Shaw. Ms. Shaw, whom I have known from her days as a council deputy with Ruth Galanter, where she cut her teeth on community service and responding to constituents' needs. And I have to say, Valerie, I want to thank you so very much for just basically saving us every time we called and asked for help. You have always figured out solutions to complex problems with enthusiasm, with boundless energy, with creativity, and with the ability to not only teach people how to get what they deserve to get in their own communities, but help facilitate that. And so you've made this a department that has breathed new life into not only our lives as public servants, but in the communities that we touch. And I would say that, I guess if I had to think about, you're an activist commissioner, a hands-on commissioner. I have to reflect back on all the hard work you did on Endeavor and bringing Endeavor down Crenshaw. And when I called one night and I heard that you were standing on Crenshaw Boulevard supervising the removal of the street lights so that Endeavor could get through and not knock the lights down, now that is one hell of a commissioner. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
All right, Jan. Mr. Zine.
I just wanted to offer my congratulations. Valerie, don't hide back there. You're the senior member. Don't be hiding back there. You are the senior member. But to all the commissioners, thank you for what you do. It is what Los Angeles is all about, is working together to make it a better place, and obviously your commission does it. And Joe, our fine friend from the police department, protecting the community, now improving the entire city of Los Angeles. To all the commissioners and the representatives, to all the folks that make it happen, congratulations. Just want to join the choir. And it's a unique day that we have the chamber filled with people. We have the public watching, and we're acknowledging those that do a job that few people recognize are actually out there doing the job, but behind the scenes people that are making it happen. So congratulations to each and every one of you. Well-deserved credit for all you do for the people of L.A. Congratulations.
Okay, Mr. Buscaino, back to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Capri Maddox. She's the president of the Board of Public Works Commission.
Thank you so much, Council President Wesson, for having us here today. And I'd like to really thank Council Member Buscaino for helping us. And you always support us and back us up. Until the entire City Council, we really appreciate your support. I'm surprised that we don't have Councilman Labange here. He's probably behind us because he's our honorary member in the Public Works family. You can see him many times after storms picking up tree fronds and lending us a helping hand. I would really like to thank all of the council members, particularly those that helped us with the budget. As you know, we have a budget of about $1.8 billion, and it's still not enough to do all the things we need to do. And we do the best we can with the money we have. And I just really wanted to commend our commissioners that assist us, my fellow commissioners, as well as our bureau heads that really stretch the dollars. We do more with less, and as you know, we had the early retirement, and we've had some budget dips over the years, and I really appreciate the fact that we're able to still get things done. And it's today, of all days, it really brings home that the infrastructure is very important. Some of you may have opened the newspaper today and saw that a bridge fell somewhere in the country. And, you know, when you see things like that happen, you realize how important public works really is. And I think Councilmember Buscaino mentioned what life would be like in Los Angeles without the street lights, without the streets being paved, without the trees being trimmed, and I mean, and our sewer lines. And so it just is so important. And I've really learned to celebrate the 5,000 men and women that work in the Public Works family. These are the true heroes today. I mean, it's not the commissioners or the council members, even though we love you all. It's really the 5,000 men and women that get up every day and do their work with love and compassion. As you drive around this city, you'll see them working, and they work very hard. It can be hot, it can be raining, but they're there and they're here for us, and we are here for your community. So thank you so much for honoring us.
Thank you. I'd like to bring up Mr. John Reamer, the Inspector of Public Works, to say a few words. John?
President, Council, it's a pleasure to be here, and I just want to say thank you for acknowledging the Department of Public Works. We use the term family, and we don't use it loosely. This is a family, and not just this department, but the city as a whole. And serving the citizens of this city is indeed an honor and a privilege. Making sure that opportunity exists for all those who want to work on city projects, the departments, and all of the workers that come and make sure, and as the President said, tirelessly serving to make sure that the quality of life is preserved in the city is indeed an honor and a privilege, and I thank you today for acknowledging us.
Thanks, John. And our city engineer, Mr. Gary Lee Moore, would say a few words. Gary's been tremendous. We have a little bump in the road in San Pedro, the White Point landslide, and he and his team have just been phenomenal in working with my team, the neighborhood councils, and the community on trying to fix that problem. So, Gary Lee Moore, our city engineer.
Morning, Mr. President, council members. It's a real pleasure to be here on behalf of all of us in the Department of Public Works, especially in the Bureau of Engineering. The men and women work so hard and look for efficiencies and innovations, and it's a real pleasure that they've been able to find cost savings by delivering projects on time and under budget, that we've been able to deliver extra public safety facilities, extra fire stations, and it's just a real pleasure to work with a great team here in Public Works, and thank you for recognizing us today. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Gary. And Mr. Engler and I are trying to make every effort to fix every failed street in the city of Los Angeles. This next individual here, Mr. Nazario Salceda, has been really instrumental in getting the word out. We hosted a series of Public Works Committee meetings across the city, and he did not miss one. Nazario, thank you so much. Nazario Salceda, Director of Street Services.
Thank you, Councilmember Buscaino, and good morning to all of you, council members. Just real quick, I just want to express my gratitude for the kind words that you expressed. We are the face of Public Works, but the heart and soul are working right now on the streets, providing the services that impact the quality of life of every single neighborhood in LA. So I will personally deliver your kind words to my workers to make sure that they understand that their work is highly appreciated. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thanks, Nazario. And representing the Department of Sanitation is Tracy Menamidi to say a couple words.
Tracy.
Good morning, President Wesson and Council. Tracy Menamidi, Chief Operating Officer for the Bureau of Sanitation. Just want to say thank you so much for your recognition of our Bureau and of our Department of Public Works. We're so happy to be a part of this large family. All 2,800 of us in sanitation are very proud of the work that we do, from the solid resources, the trash pickup, solid recycling, to the wastewater treatment, to the watershed protection. We are excited about the work that we do. We are very happy to be serving in the city of Los Angeles, and we want to thank you today for this recognition.
Thank you, Tracy. So again, National Public Works Week. On behalf of the City of Los Angeles and the city family, we thank you for your commitment and dedication to all the work that you do day in and day out. Let's give them all a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, big photo. Here we go. Look at Betsy. Get in here. Valerie.
We've got Melrose Larry Green in the back. Been waiting. I was worried about you. I haven't seen you in over a year. Okay, Mr. Weezer, I just was handed a note that before you go. In fact, you have an announcement, I'm told. Why don't you do the announcement, and then I will take up the budget. But before that, Ms. Perry, you have something as well?
Wanted to welcome 85 young people who are here in the chamber today from Central Region Elementary School number 21, and this school will be renamed this coming Tuesday as the Sally Ride Elementary School, and it is a smart academy. As you can see, they're over here on the left. So
give them a round of applause.
Raise your hands. Thank you.
Mr. Weezer.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'll make the announcement from the dais if it's okay with you, Mr.
Oh, it's okay. Go right ahead.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, and it gives me great pleasure to be here in Chambers with one of the most active priests in the city of Los Angeles, and in fact, he has no idea that we are recognizing him for his 45 years of service, and we're talking about none other than Monsignor John Moretta.
Surprise, surprise.
You see, he does not know we were going to recognize his 45 years of service, but we told him to come over because we are fighting a polluter nearby the city of Vernon, and it recently was shut down by the state, so we told him we'd come over and to celebrate with us about this victory. He is a shy man. Yes, he is an altruistic man, but he wouldn't come to be recognized like this, so the community thought we should surprise him with this. And as you see, there are many, many community members who are here to celebrate 45 years of service, not only to the Boyle Heights community, but to all the city of Los Angeles. And we kind of misrepresented why we're here, why we brought him here. I feel a little bit bad, Monsignor, that we lied to you, but will you forgive me? Yes. Can you absolve me right now? Thank you, thank you. It's bad enough lying, but to lie to a priest, that's even worse. That's right. But he just absolved me right now. So I do want to say in all seriousness that Monsignor we did in fact introduce a resolution last week regarding Exide, and it will be voted on next Tuesday, May 28th in City Council. So you hopefully we'll see you then at that time. I also want to recognize the active members of Resurrection Parish and the Resurrection Neighborhood Watch Group that meets every Monday at 6 p.m. at Resurrection Church. Rain or shine, they are there. And I want to thank all of you for being here today on this very special day to recognize a remarkable leader. And colleagues, we're here to celebrate 45 years of service. He was ordained on April 27, 1968. I was still a thought, but I was born a few months after that, and has since served in the Archdiocese of Los Angeles as a parish priest in 5 different parishes. As a pastor of Resurrection Church in Boyle Heights, he celebrated 25 years of service to that parish this month. Father John is known for his leadership in the Resurrection Church neighborhood and for being a staunch and fierce advocate for people who attend his church and the greater Boyle Heights community. And let me be clear about one thing off the bat. If your idea of a priest is a soft-spoken, gentle, back-patting man, that's not Father John Moretta. Now, he's a loving man, and he's a kind man, but the Bible tells us about Michael, the archangel, and David, who slayed the giant Goliath. That's Father John Moretta. He is one of our community's warriors, and in so being, one of Boyle Heights' angels in this great city. As Tom would say, that he certainly is an angel here in the City of Angels. Whether it is organizing the mothers of East Los Angeles, or creating neighborhood watch groups, or bringing together a band of activists and political leaders to fight back polluters in the local community, Father John has not met a good fight he didn't like. Monsignor Moretta has always fought the good fight, and it is a true community advocate and leader. It is no surprise that for more than 13 years he has met with the community every week to discuss public safety and other pressing community issues. His expertise in working with the community allowed him to get involved with a federally funded gang reduction program, as well as Project Clear. Project Clear resulted in a 0 homicide rate in its first 21 months. The previous 24 months, there were 12 homicides in the same area. So we want to congratulate Father Monsignor Moretta and the community for such a huge, huge success in protecting our community. Monsignor stood up for the city of Vernon when they proposed to build a Vernon power plant. It was then that Monsignor Moretta called upon Boyle Heights community members and local political leaders like Congresswoman Lucia Roiva Allard and myself to organize ongoing protests, official legislative actions, and other deterrents to stop the plant. Monsignor Moretta never wavered and helped us succeed in our mission, and the plans for the plant were ultimately abandoned. And more recently, when arsenic pollution and other contaminations became public at Exide Technologies, Father John lent his considerable voice in calling for stricter regulation of the plant, which was recently shut down by the state. Congratulations. As I said, he is one of our community's warriors, and he is a true blessing to Boyle Heights and our great city. So on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, Father John Monsignor Moretta, I present you to this resolution by all of the City Council and our Mayor, thanking you for your service. Thank you so much.
Mr. Huizar, before we hear from your honored guests, I'd like to call on Mr. Zine.
Thank you, Mr. President. Monsignor, I've had the pleasure of meeting you on 2 beautiful occasions, and I know that your parish is so strong and so much involved in the community, and I just want to offer my congratulations. When we get a captain of the LAPD to come here and show respect and admiration for you, you know you've broken through all those barriers, and the congregants that are here supporting you, and you also have a senior lead behind you there too, so you got protection from the police department to help you in that community that is so vibrant for the beautiful city of Los Angeles, and your great council member, Jose Huizar, who is a personal friend who had the pleasure, and I've had the honor of attending 2 masses at Resurrection Parish at the church. So congratulations. It's a well-deserved honor, and you are a great Monsignor on your way to Pope someday in your lifetime. God bless you. Thank you, Monsignor.
Miss Perry.
Father, I don't know that you're interested in becoming the Pope, but what I love about you, I didn't think so. What I love about you is the way you empower the community, and I have enjoyed sitting in the chair and talking and being cross-examined and being challenged and presenting what I know and listening to the community and trying to craft solutions not only here through the City Council but also with the South Coast Air Quality Management District. And so to me, you're not only a father, you're an environmental advocate, and you've been a fierce environmental advocate, protective of the community on all levels, and I have an enormous admiration for you, and I'm grateful for your partnership and happy always to be your ally.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and just quickly, Mr. Huizar, Madam Clerk, we do have a quorum, so I want to call the roll so the folk can begin to pass out our paperwork. So anyway, call the roll.
Alarcon, Buscaino, Engler, Garcetti, Huizar, Carrasco, Corrigan, Labange, Parks, Prairie, Reyes, Rosendahl, Zine, Weston, 12 members present, and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Garcetti.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and I want to thank you, Father John. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. It's good to be back here as a council member. I've missed the council, and I'm speaking just as a council member, but Father John, you are Boyle Heights. You are, to me, the representation of the community's hopes and dreams and fighting spirit. You know, as somebody who traces both sides of my family back to Boyle Heights, the first place is the gateway community for so many of us and our families. And for those that are still there, to have a strong priest is like a left and a right at the same time, because what you bring is great moral conviction, but you also bring great political savvy, which is very important. Politics are part of all of life, whether it's inside a church, whether it's inside a community, and I don't look at that as a bad thing. Politics is where we discuss, we argue, we disagree, we come together, and I want to thank you for being a voice for justice. I don't want to neglect my Chief of Staff, Ana Guerrero, as well, who is a longtime friend from the days when she used to head up UNO in East LA, Boyle Heights, who's a big fan of yours as well. But on behalf of a neighboring district, we thank you for making the city a better place. I know you hate every moment of this right now, and you're saying, please, will you just stop talking? But God bless you, and help us bless the city as well in our days forward. Thank you, Father John.
Thank you, Mayor-elect. If we can go to Mr. Reyes, please.
And that doesn't sound like Herb Wesson. Oh, it's not. All right. Well, I just want to stand and say thank you, Father, for your advocacy. In my 12 years as chair of Plum, we've had several issues before my committee. And one of the most rigorous and passionate pleas have come from your voice, and how you speak of the voiceless. And that is so important, as has been stated by my colleagues. But you're surrounded by many leaders. Thank you, Captain, for being here. Frank Villalobos, who goes back to historic movements. I don't say historic times, historic movements. We've been around a long time. And there are so many great, great people here. And Councilman Huizar, they're going to keep you on your toes. And we're going to make sure that we continue moving in the benefit of our community. But thank you, Father, for your passion, your heart, and all the work you've done over the years. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Huizar, close.
Really, when I was a kid, we used to call this being shanghaied. That meant that you were kidnapped, and so I did come here to talk about something else. But I'm very, very honored. I'm very deeply honored, and for all of your remarks. And I have been very blessed. I have served in the parish there for 30 years. I've been a priest now 45 years, and in my anniversary mass that we had, I was overcome with gratitude and began really to cry, because I was so happy to be with so many beautiful people for so many years, and it's a blessing for me. I've been more blessed by them than I have blessed them. So I thank you all very, very much for this great honor. Thank you very much. God bless all of you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And all the community, it was their idea, but one driver for this was our good friend Sal. So thank you so much, Sal, for helping, Commissioner Sal from Probation Department for the County of Los Angeles. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Mr. Huizar. We've got one more presentation. Mr. Reyes, are you ready? Excellent.
One of the joys of being a council member is to celebrate the diversity and the richness of our great city. About 3 years ago, we started the celebration with a Casa de Cultura that reminded us of our roots that go back to the Mayan. Today, we have El Día de Yucateco, that is acknowledged May 29th. Let's give a big round of applause, please. With this resolution, we also seek to recognize all Yucatecan immigrants, migrants, and the contributions to our city. But particularly, we recognize those who came to the United States during the 50s and 60s through the Bracero program. They are a true inspiration to all of us. Their sacrifice and perseverance paved the way for younger generations to achieve their true and full potential. I thank the Yucateco community, and especially Casa de la Cultura Maya for this opportunity, Gladys Pintor for her undying leadership and energy. And yes, let's give Gladys a big round of applause. And allow me to recognize Professor Marco A. Palma, who is this year the Yucatec of the Year. He will receive the award on the patio. Have a great, and we'll be hearing from him. Professor Palma immigrated to the United States from Mérida, Yucatan, Mexico, with his family in 1960. He served as a university professor, as a respected organizer, and a civil servant. He is genuinely respected, admired, and appreciated by all who have the opportunity to know and work with him, and those who have acquired the benefits of his humanitarian spirit and dedication to make a difference in the lives of many people. Mr. Palma I've known for many years as a youngster growing up in Sacred Heart and Lincoln Heights, and a lot of my classmates, older brothers, were a part of this circle where they became attorneys and professors, doctors, professionals. And Mr. Palma was one of the most spirited organizers I've ever met. So I'm great to see him, have him here today. I'd like to share a few words.
Thank you,
Mr. Palma, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Ed Reyes, members of the City Council, my favorite speaker, Herb Wesson. I'm honored and privileged to be here to help recognize the significant contributions that my paisanos, the Yucatecos, have made to this community. I want to personally thank my parents, my mother who's here today, Eddie Palma, who had the vision and understood the value of living in two worlds. I dedicate this day to the millions of undocumented workers who seek to share my parents' vision and who deserve meaningful immigration reform. Thank you very much.
Can we have your mom stand? Have your mom stand? Can we have Mr. Palma's mom stand? Recognize? Where is she? La mamá. La mamá. Let's give a big round of applause, please. We also have with us a representative of the governor of Yucatan, Mr. Rolando Zapata Bello. I want to thank him for being here, and his representative who is with us, Eric Rubio, Secretary of State for the state of Yucatan, Mexico. Señor Rubio, si me permite presentar el certificado bienvenida a Los Ángeles a nuestro gobernador de Yucatán, Rolando Zapata Bello.
Gracias. Perdón por hablar en español, pero en este recinto lo que quiero
I apologize for speaking
decir, no
in
podría
Spanish,
decirlo en
but I will not be able to say it in English in this wonderful
A nombre
chambers.
del gobernador del estado de Yucatán,
In the name of the
libre y
governor of the
soberano en
state
la
of
Federación Mexicana,
Yucatan, a free and sovereign
Rolando
state,
Zapata Bello,
Mr. Orlando Zapata Bello,
hago un agradecimiento y un
I extend
reconocimiento
a great
muy especial
thanks
a este
and recognition,
cabildo, a
a
los
very, very
concejales,
special
al
thank you to the
presidente,
council members, to the
a
president,
todos
to the
aquellos
city
los que
council,
forman
and all
la
of you who
administración de
consist of the
gobierno
administration of
de
the
esta
government
ciudad de Los
of this
Ángeles,
wonderful city of
California,
Los Angeles, California,
porque sentimos
because
aquí
we
que
feel
Yucatán,
here
un
that
pedazo de
Yucatan
nuestro querido Yucatán,
is here.
se
A small piece
encuentra
of our wonderful
aquí en Los
Yucatan
Ángeles.
and beloved Yucatan is found here in Los Angeles.
Quiero agradecer mucho a los señores
I also want to extend a great
alcaldes de la
appreciation
ciudad,
to
a
the mayor of the city,
don Antonio Villarraigosa,
Mr. Antonio
que
Villarraigosa,
termina y que ha hecho una excelente
who's
labor,
finishing his term and has
y
done a
en
wonderful,
forma
excellent
especial,
job.
obviamente,
And especially
a don Eric Garcetti,
want to
que
thank Mr. Eric
comenzará
Garcetti,
con
who
esta.
will begin
Le
his new
deseo
term in this
mucho gusto.
position as mayor-elect. Congratulations.
Y aprovecho, señor futuro alcalde,
And
hacer
now-
una invitación
And I want to
a
take this
Yucatán
opportunity, Mr.
para que nos acompañe
Mayor-elect,
y
to
conozca
extend invitation to
nuestro
Yucatan
estado, que es
so
un
you can
estado
visit our
turístico
state.
y
It's
es un
a
estado donde
state of
queremos
a lot of
mucho
tourists. We love
a
our
Los
state a
Ángeles,
great deal,
California.
and the state of Yucatan loves the city of Los Angeles and the state of California also.
Yucatán es un estado con 2 millones de habitantes aproximadamente
Yucatan is a state which consists of 2 million people of its
y creemos que más del
population.
10% de nuestra población
And we believe that over
se puede
10%,
encontrar aquí en el área, en esta área de
we
California.
believe that over 10% of our population can be found here in this area in California, in the state of
Por esa
California.
razón, el gobernador Rolando Zapata
This is the reason why the governor, Mr. Rolando Zapata,
tiene un gran interés en que incrementemos las relaciones de gobierno a gobierno,
is very interested in extending our relationship from government to government.
que incrementemos las relaciones de todos los yucatecos que viven aquí y que tienen familiares allá.
We want to increase the relationship of all the Yucatecos who live here and whose relatives still live in our state of Yucatan.
Reconocemos y casi le damos la adopción de yucateco al concejal Ed Reyes.
We acknowledge,
mucho
we
nos ha
almost give
ayudado
him
en
the
esto.
title of Yucateco also to Mr. Reyes, who's always been a great friend of our brothers and sisters.
Igual que a la Casa de la Cultura, a don Marco Antonio Pacheco
Also to Casa
y
de
a
la
todos
Cultura,
los
Marco Antonio
yucatecos que por
Pacheco,
muchos años
and all Yucatecos whom for many years
hicieron el esfuerzo que ahora culmina en este momento, pero que es el trabajo esforzado, la aportación a la ciudad de
who
Los
for many years
Ángeles,
have taken a
el
lot of strides and
cariño por
efforts, and now you can
su
see
raza maya,
it coming
de
to
todos
fruition.
los que el día de hoy
And that's why we're here today,
culmina
thanks to all the
en esta muy
population of the
honrosa
Mayan race who participated in this
del
wonderful
Día
and
del
very
Yucateco por
honorable
este cabildo donde
recognition
todos
of the Day of the
los
Yucateco
yucatecos
on behalf
que
of this
vivimos allá y los que
City
viven
Council,
en el
City
mundo,
Hall. Thank you
se
for
los
all of us who live
agradecemos
there and all of
de
us who
todo
live in
corazón
the
a
whole
este
world.
cabildo.
We truly, truly appreciate the City Council for this great recognition and acknowledgement.
Finalmente, solo me resta decirles que el centro de la cultura maya,
Finally, I would like to
el
finish
centro de
by
la
saying the
civilización
center of the Mayan
que está en
culture
Yucatán,
is the
Campeche,
center of the
Quintana Roo,
civilization
Tabasco y Chiapas,
it's in this cities and states.
y que también está
And it's also
en
located
Belice, Salvador, Honduras y Guatemala.
in those countries as well.
Allá en Yucatán está la cuna de esta civilización.
In Yucatan,
En
that's where
octubre
the center of the
haremos
civilization
un festival
exists.
grandioso, el Festival de la
we're gonna
Cultura
have
Maya,
a great
a lo cual todos
festival for
los
the Mayan
concejales,
culture.
el cabildo
And all of the
y la
council members,
administración de Los Ángeles,
City
así
Hall,
como los habitantes
and
de
the
Los
city
Ángeles,
administration of Los Angeles and all the
invitados
population of Los Angeles is
cordialmente
greatly
a
invited
conocer
and cordially
la
invited
tierra del
to
Mayab,
come
la
and
tierra de todos ustedes.
to
Gracias.
know the birth of the Mayan culture. You're all invited to our festival. Thank you.
And now we have, I believe we queued up, a message from the governor of Yucatan, Rolando Zapata Bello.
Como gobernador de Yucatán y sobre todo como ciudadano de esta tierra, significa un honor y un verdadero privilegio tener la oportunidad de dirigir unas palabras a la comunidad yucateca que reside en Los Ángeles, California, con motivo de la declaración del Día del Yucateco. El orgullo y el compromiso de nuestra gente son tan grandes que aún a más de 3.160 kilómetros de distancia del Yucatán siguen dejando huella y se perciben con enorme fuerza y determinación. Nos sentimos afortunados de tener representantes y embajadores como todos ustedes, hombres y mujeres que son nuestra mejor carta de presentación en el extranjero. Un botón de muestra de lo que la dedicación, el talento, las habilidades y la cultura emprendedora del Mayab son capaces de lograr. Sus historias de vida son un claro ejemplo que el bienestar sí se puede alcanzar cuando se ponen manos a la obra. El deporte, la cultura, la gastronomía, la ciencia, la hospitalidad y la calidez de nuestro pueblo se encuentran dignamente representados en Los Ángeles. Y ese es motivo del festejo para quienes vivimos en Yucatán y para aquellos paisanos que sin vivir aquí mantienen el orgullo por sus raíces. Por ello, es vital actuar con solidaridad y unidad para que toda la comunidad yucateca en cualquier otra parte del mundo se beneficie a plenitud de las oportunidades y superen los desafíos. Agradezco el apoyo de las autoridades de Los Ángeles, especialmente al alcalde Antonio Villarraigosa, por llevar a buen puerto este proyecto. La identidad y el sentido de pertenencia son dos de los valores que fortalecen el tejido social en todas las comunidades. En ese sentido, con esta iniciativa ganan ambas comunidades, tanto la de Los Ángeles como la de Yucatán. Un Yucatán en el que nos hemos trazado grandes metas para los próximos años. En el Plan Estatal de Desarrollo 2012-2018 nos hemos propuesto construir un Estado competitivo, incluyente, con educación de calidad, con crecimiento ordenado y seguro. Y en esas tareas fundamentales resulta esencial el apoyo de la comunidad yucateca que vive fuera de su tierra natal, que emigró para labrarse un futuro mejor. Solo por poner un ejemplo, el año pasado las remesas enviadas desde el extranjero a Yucatán fueron superiores a los 119 millones de dólares, recursos que contribuyen a activar la economía de sus localidades de origen. Por todo ese apoyo, la administración estatal que encabezo los respalda plenamente. Los respaldamos acercando los servicios de atención a través del INDEMAYA, para que puedan tramitar sus actas de nacimiento vía Internet, su constancia de identidad homologada y recibir asesoría legal. Asimismo, estamos desarrollando políticas sociales de salud y obra pública en aquellas comunidades con dinámica migrante. Ustedes son parte de Yucatán y se los queremos demostrar a través de acciones concretas. Felicidades en este día. Tengan por seguro que en Yucatán estamos trabajando a la par para que sus familias, sus seres queridos, sus paisanos cuenten con oportunidades plenas de desarrollo y bienestar. Aquí, en la tierra del faisán y del venado, estamos echándole muchas ganas para que todos los días sean días del yucateco.
Muchas gracias. Thank you. I do have Mr. Rubio, the Secretary of State of the state of Yucatan, asked if Councilmember Eric Garcetti, now Mayor-elect, would like to join us. I know as a council member, he has been very supportive, not only of Gladys Pinto and the Mayan culture and the club that has been so involved. So they'd like to acknowledge him as the council member and now Mayor-elect for his work for the past 12 years.
Excelente. Sí, claro, está bien. Excelente. Gran placer.
Cuando tenga poco tiempo para descansar.
Sí. I love it.
Aquí le manda, ese es el señor alcalde de la ciudad de Mérida, Yucatán.
Oh, increíble.
Le están dando.
Sí.
Este es para su esposa.
Para mí. Buenísimo.
That's beautiful. Del municipio del Teabo, Yucatán.
There's so many presents I'm gonna here. Give it up. That's for resting. That's my hammock.
You need it now,
Gracias. Sí.
Continúe con éxito.
Placer.
Muchísimas felicidades y aquí ese es otro regalo.
But wait, there's more.
It's going to be hot.
I guess it's good to be the mayor-elect. Gracias. Well, I'll just say very briefly, thank you, Councilmember Reyes, y gracias a todos mis amigos del Yucatán. I went to the Yucatan Peninsula when I was a child, and it captured my heart. It was a place that you see not only Mexican, Mayan, Latino, but world culture, the contributions that have come from this peninsula that have affected all of our lives so profoundly. I would just say this, the greatest recognition I've given in my life to anything or anyone is that I named my daughter Maya, and in recognition of her roots. And so I look forward to continuing those ties very closely. Continuaremos estas raíces, these roots that we have together, and the relationship that we can have moving forward. I look forward to that as I take on my new role in a couple weeks. So, muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much.
And now I'd like to ask the Executive Director of Casa de Cultura Maya, Marco Pacheco. Marco.
Good morning, honorable council members, and thank you for giving us this day. Specifically, I'd like to thank the honorable council member, Ed Reyes. And I want to give Ed Reyes a round of applause. I know this is his last term, but we really work with him so closely. He's one of our community members and will continue to be one of our community members, and truly appreciate all the work, all the hard work that he did with us. So thank you, council member. And of course, I want to thank his staff, Silvia Beltran, Arturo Gonzalez, for all your support, Jose Gardea, his chief of staff. Someone that also worked with us very closely, so I want to thank him as well for this special moment. Today is a very touchy moment for me, because this is not necessarily for me, even though I'm Yucatecan. This is for my grandmother, my grandfather, for all of these, all these groups right here that we want to recognize also. These gentlemen, they're going to be, these ladies and gentlemen, they're going to be recognized today outside at the forecourt for all of their hard work, their perseverance. Some of them are businessmen, others are just leaders in their right, and just wonderful people. There's approximately about 200,000 Yucatecans here in this town. It's about 10% of the population of Yucatan. So that's the governor, and as the vice governor also mentioned, is Yucatecans are very important to this economic development of this city. We've been here since the 40s, 50s, 60s. Many of our ancestors came through the Abracero program, the guest worker program. And a lot of them are here, like this gentleman on the third to my left. This gentleman, he came as a bracero and worked really hard and made his son become a doctor and his daughter a doctor in biology. So I want to give them a round of applause, please. Quiero dar unas palabras en español también en respeto a nuestros invitados especiales que vinieron desde México.
I would like to say some special words in Spanish, especially for all our special guests who are with us from Mexico.
Quiero agradecer la presencia del jefe de despacho del gobernador, el señor Eric Rubio Bartel, que se encuentra aquí con nosotros y que también nos dio unas palabras.
The representative of the governor,
Le agradecemos.
Mr. Eric Rubio, who's here with us as well.
Desafortunadamente no tuvimos al gobernador, pero el gobernador estuvo aquí presente con el video.
Unfortunately, the governor was not able to be here, but he was present here with us through the video. Additionally, we are very thankful and appreciative of.
Agradecemos a la comunidad yucateca que se pare, por favor.
The Yucatecan community, I ask you to please stand up in acknowledgement of our appreciation for being with us.
Agradecemos a las comunidades oaxaqueñas,
We're very appreciative to the Oaxaqueñas, Central American, Guatemalan, Salvadorian communities,
nicaragüenses,
and Nicaraguenses as well,
que están aquí presentes, que han estado aquí presentes con nosotros. Creo que está aquí también la vicecónsul,
who are here with us and have been with us throughout our journey, the Vice Consul,
Ana Lucía Castro.
The Vice Consul from Honduras, Ms. Castro, is also here with us.
Tenemos a la representante de los inmigrantes hondureños, la señora Vivian Pantin.
Ms. Vivian Lamptey, also representative of the Honduran immigrants.
Y bueno, hay muchos aquí que puedo mencionar, pero no me tardaría aquí todo el día. Y quiero
There's a
nada más
lot of
solamente
other guests
agradecer
who are
de todo mi
worth
corazón
of being mentioned, but it will
esta
take the whole
oportunidad
day.
que nos han dado de tener
But I
este gran
truly
día,
want
este
to
día
thank you from the
histórico,
bottom of my heart of
este
this
día para nuestros
acknowledgement. This
abuelos,
is a
para
very
nuestras
historic
abuelas,
day
para
for
aquellos
our
que
grandmas,
lucharon y
grandfathers, and
forjaron el
everyone
camino
who
para todos nosotros que tuviéramos éxito en este país.
and
Gracias.
opened the way for us to be able to be in this wonderful country. Thank you.
En nombre del gobernador de Yucatán, entregarle también al nuevo yucateco para adopción.
In the name of the governor from Yucatan, I would like to extend this gift to the new Yucateca.
Gracias. Wow. This is yours. There you go.
Este es de parte de maestro Humberto Novelo.
Gracias.
Y el maestro Edgar quiere regalar el caracol, que es símbolo de comunicación. Para que nunca se rompa la comunicación entre nuestras comunidades.
Gracias. Gracias. Muchas gracias.
Mr. Reyes, are you going to attempt that as well?
Only to start the council.
Yes.
Every morning, on time. But I do want to say, it was just shared with me that this does represent not only the communication, but also celebration of our culture. And when you think about what the governor shared with us, this international economy is based on relationships. $119 million every year comes from the Yucatecos, from here to the state. The jobs we create here, the interaction, it is powerful, not only in beauty and culture and food, but in economics. So gracias a los padres, los abuelitos, todos que han sacrificado tanto durante el programa de los braceros. A ustedes les digo con todo corazón, muchas gracias, porque sin ustedes, sin los sacrificios, nosotros que ahora somos concejales, doctores, abogados, profesores, sería imposible sin lo que han sacrificado. Muchas gracias a los padres, a los abuelitos, un gran aplauso por nuestros. So with that, I say thank you so much. Thank you for your patience. I know these sometimes get long, but they're very meaningful because they are passion that's been held back for decades. And we are now able to express ourselves. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. And Mr. Reyes, I don't know if you know that right behind you, the young man with that sharp derby on, Marco Palma, used to work for me when I was Speaker of the House. Give Marco a round of applause. Marco, raise your hand. This man comes into the council and rocks a derby, a straw derby. All right, again, congratulations. Let's go through the agenda, if we could, Madam Clerk.
Mr. President, first is approval of the minutes.
Krikorian moves, Parks seconds. Next.
Committee resolutions for approval.
Koretz moves, Englander seconds. Next.
Items 1 through 5 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes required for consideration.
Okay, without objection, those items are now before us. Do you have cards?
Yes, cards on items 1 through 5.
Okay, then we'll hold all of those. Maybe we should, Mr. City Attorney, you want to go into the special meeting now?
It's really not up to me.
Okay. I was hoping more for a recommendation. Let's recess the regular meeting, go into the special meeting. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alarcon, Buscaino, Engler, Garcetti, Rizar, Carrasco, Corey, Labange, Parks, Prairie, Reyes, Rosendahl, Zine, Weston. 12 members present, a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, so that brings us to special item 6?
Yes, item 6 is an item for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, that item will now be before us. But before we go to that item, Mr. Buscaino, you have a quick shout out, I'm told. That you need to do it now or forever hold your peace.
Thank you, Mr. President. Come on, guys, join me. It's with great pleasure that I introduce 2 of 21 youth ambassadors that we welcome that has now embarked 8 months with the Human Relations Commission. Our youth ambassadors who are here with us today, we welcome them and just want to recognize them. And introduce yourselves in your high school. Come on.
My name is Ashley Lee, and I come from North Hollywood High School.
North Hollywood High, and?
Hi, I'm Edna. I go to UCLA Community School at the Robert F. Kennedy.
Fantastic. Let's give them a City Hall welcome. Their first time here at City Hall. They're going to be our City of Los Angeles Youth Ambassadors with the Human Relations Commission. Thank you, Mr.
Great.
President.
Thank you, Mr. Buscaino. We'll go to public comment. Let's have Arnold Sachs and John Walsh please come forward. Mr. Sachs, we're on item number 6 in a special meeting.
No, it's not public comment. Thank you. You need to be a little bit more specific, or maybe the city attorney could tell you that. Item number 6 refers to historic cultural monuments. And so, based on the fact that in last week, prior meetings, you had before you, and in the newspaper, a little bit of discussion about nonprofits and the IRS, and they're looking at nonprofits that make donations for government for political reasons, but they're not looking at nonprofits that run government agencies per se. So I'm wondering, the Highland Park Heritage Trust, would that be included as a nonprofit? You know, under the pilot program that the city runs, payment in lieu of taxes. So we don't really get that information in this item, but it's important to know that the nonprofits that make up the pilot program, there's tons of money in that situation because they become eligible for grants, for government grants. And the fact that they're nonprofits means they don't have to present an agenda for the public to look at. They don't have to have meetings open to the public because it's a nonprofit. So you have really no idea of just how much money is involved in these operations for nonprofits. So when you see items on the agenda that don't refer, or it's a gray area, that should really raise a red light, because that's where
He is not talking about this item.
I am talking about...
That's a regular occurrence. Stay on the item, Mr.
I am
Sachs.
talking about the Highland Park Heritage Trust being operated by a nonprofit, Mr.
Thank you. Your time is up. Your time is up. You're disrupting the meeting now, Mr. Sachs. Please come forward, Mr. Walsh, followed by, I believe it's Charles Fisher and Juan Acala. Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. Check out, we put up our 2009 blog.
He is not talking about this item.
You know, you let him talk.
No, Dion, I got this. Mr. City Attorney, I got this. Okay, John, go back. Go back.
You're the one who tells me, not this guy.
Go back.
You're the one.
And that's what I'm telling you to do. Go back to the item.
Punk.
Go back to the item.
Okay.
And let's show some stability.
Let's talk about the item. Consideration of motion relative to initiating the inclusion of the Shoppers Market building located at 133 West Avenue. Is that good enough for you, Mr. City Attorney?
Talk directed to me.
He runs the meeting.
No.
Why should I talk to you?
You know I run these meetings, John. Talk to me.
Okay. Prepare a report. Now, we're all in favor of historic cultural monuments. And we are all in favor of the fact that Mr. Garcetti walked out of the meeting. The mayor-elect is no longer here.
Stay on the subject, John.
The subject is submit the report and application to the Cultural Heritage Commission, which will be reappointed by Mayor-elect Garcetti. As I'm going to let you, I don't need the 2 minutes, but all I'm going to say is we have a mayor-elect, and over here we have Villaraigosa. Mayor.
Stay on. Okay. Mr. Fisher, followed by Juan Acala, followed by William Delvac. Yes, sir.
Good morning. Charlie Fisher. I am with the Highland Park Heritage Trust, and I will be talking about this particular subject. The Shoppers Market is one of the last remaining Googie-style market building in the city of Los Angeles. We think it might even be the last one. It's a very important part of the Highland Park area, has been since 1960. And we did this nomination. I'm actually serve on the Highland Park Historic Preservation Overlay Zone Board, and we've 4 times essentially dodged the bullet on this building, realizing the significance of its history. Unfortunately, the building is technically a non-contributor because it was built after the period of significance for the HPOZ, and that is why the Heritage Trust submitted this nomination. But because there is a permit in progress that hasn't been issued yet to rip off the Googie's facade and put on a neo-craftsman design, which nobody wants, we asked Councilmember Reyes to submit this now because the next hearing on the 6th may be too late. And thank you very much, and thank you, Ed.
Thank you, sir. Juan Acala, and then William Delvac. Mr. Acala passes, so...
President Wesson, honorable council members, William Delvac of Armbruster, Goldsmith & Delvac. I'm here on behalf of the owner of the property, Jolliffe and Silbert. They are not the market tenant. My client just learned of this yesterday by happenstance, and one of our concerns is what Mr. Fisher just raised. The neighborhood community, people interested in preservation of this building, have had a great deal of time to nominate it, to consider it. The city undertook an extensive process to designate the single largest HPOZ in the entire city. 50 buildings are cultural monuments. This building has been evaluated as non-contributing. As the market, who has a right under the lease, wants to modernize and renovate the building, then all of a sudden it's a rush. In fact, this council calling this as a special item as opposed to even a 72-hour notice. My client objects to the lack of ability to be fully heard on this, and we urge your denial of the motion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Reyes.
Thank you, Council President. I'd just like to ask Building and Safety, just for the record, if we could speak to the status of this, our actions, and colleagues asking if we could move the council adoption of amended motion to include full address string for the entire site matching historic cultural monuments designation application forthwith. And that's the action before us. And Mr. Lara, if you can just give us a status of where we're at on this particular project at this time.
Thank you, Councilmember. Dave Lara with the Department of Building and Safety. Yesterday, our inspector observed based on a complaint, we observed the neon signage, about 4 different types of signs, plain neon, that were once the original part of the building facade, had been removed. We had been told that they were removed out of safety concerns relative to the electrical issues, and they had mentioned also that they had been removed approximately a week ago. There was also observation of a canopy directly in front of the market, which looked like it had been there for several years. At this time, we're researching whether or not there's any permits for that at this time. There is a permit on file, or rather an application on file for a permit for renovation of the facade, which has not been issued by Building and Safety.
Well, thank you. And I understand there's also obstruction of some of the parking spaces for handicapped as well?
Several of the parking spaces, including one handicap space, have been removed due to the installation of this canopy.
Okay. Well, colleagues, I ask you for an aye vote on this item. It's important that we support the amending motion so that we can preserve the history of this great city and its architecture and I would ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. No speakers on the queue.
Excuse me, Mr. President. The amending motion has not been circulated yet, so Council should wait till the item gets circulated before voting.
So how far off are we with that occurring? I know. And I... Come on, Avak, let's rock. We're just temporarily delayed as we're waiting for amendments to be circulated to the members of the Los Angeles City Council. I believe I have to sign something, and then we will distribute it. Avak, I'm going to put you on the mic and let you say that. You know, this is the second day in the row, members, that we need Tom LaBonge, and he has abandoned us. Mr. President, Mr. Mayor.
Just a point of personal privilege, we often celebrate great birthdays that are around here, and Alan Alietti, who's one of the vote clerks who makes, or sorry, city clerk, not the vote clerk, but the record clerk of record. What's your title? We worked together so long. He's a historian, a great graduate of Occidental College where he played basketball, the Tigers. Somebody who has always a witty thing to say under his breath right here when we are voting on important items. It is his birthday tomorrow. He's finally turning 25, and we're very, very excited for him. So I want to just wish him a very happy birthday to Alan Alietti, from one guy whose last name ends with Eddie to another. Way to go.
Thank you. Alan, congratulations. And I didn't know you played basketball. But I guess just because you played basketball doesn't mean that you were good.
Mr. President, we are in a special meeting, and I think the amending motion has been circulated.
Okay, thank you. All right, with that said, Mr. Reyes is asking for an aye vote. Let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, let's adjourn the special meeting and return forthwith and return to the regular meeting. Let's take up item 1 on today's agenda. Arnold Sachs, John Walsh on item number 1.
I get my card too. I get my card.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, or good afternoon, Arnold. No, it's still morning. Amazing. Arnold Sachs. This refers to the rent escrow account program. And again, we talk about, because the budget had just been authorized by the departing mayor, we're talking about here the use of city resources when the city is in a financial free fall. The mayor has just authorized a budget, and there's already a deficit for the next year. And yet, resources are used for this program, the Los Angeles Housing Rent Escrow Program, when they could be used to issue citations for homes in foreclosure that are in disrepair. at $1,000 a day. Would you much rather the city collect $1,000 or not? Done.
Okay, Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. The new post up today, that's 2 posts in 3 days, right there at the front page. This is REAP again. We lost Jackie. This is a Jackie Goldberg created REAP. She did an excellent job. She'd still be sitting here if it weren't for term limits. Personally, my landlord isn't that bad, but we have some bad landlords, we have some good landlords. And I thank Bill Huey for representing the good landlords, and the city of Los Angeles does a good job on REAP, which means that if you don't fulfill the law, if you disobey the law and your landlord, you don't get the rent. The rent goes to the city. Come right now, you'll see something that'll amaze you at HollywoodHighlands.org.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Mr. Hakala, I do not have a card on you, but you said you filled out one, so I will allow you to speak.
Yeah, I did fill one out on 1 through 6. Again, this deals with properties that have complied with the requirements that the city desired to make the property look good, smell good, taste good, good. But in my opinion, there should be no landlords. There should be no reason for the city to be overruling everybody and throwing people out on the street because they don't pay taxes or they don't do they don't maintain the property to the standards of City Hall. These people have finally complied, and they were given back the chance to not lose their home. You know, why should people have to answer to City Hall or to the banks just to have a place to live? This is a stupid way to do business. You are not the government. You're only the administration of the people's money. Quit messing with the people. Let the people rule themselves.
Mr. President, he has refused to talk about this.
Get back on the subject.
The subject is let
Okay, that is not the subject. All right, let's prepare to vote on this item. Let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, now I'm going to take 2 general public comment cards, and then we'll go back to the items. Gladys Park, and Arnold Sachs, and John Walsh.
What about 4? I'm in it too.
Well, thank you. Good morning, Arnold Sachs. Big day yesterday. While the City Council was going over the budget, the board at the MTA was delivering a station to Leimert Park and to Westchester. $40 million to Leimert Park. Fascinating. The City Council in February delivered a light rail line in downtown LA, $239 million. Measure our local return funding. Metro delivered an extra $153 million to the Alameda Corridor East in Measure Our funding. I believe Metro is also considering a station for the downtown connector, which actually should have been built 25 years ago. But they were considering a station to add down here for $100 million. Leimert Park got $40 million. You know, in racing, there's first place, which is a winner, second place, which is for show, and third place, win place show. Oh, second place is for place, third place is for show. When they say third place, that's not it could be considered a mispronunciation, except when you're in politics. The people in South Central LA finished in third place on their station for Leimert Park. Measure our local return funds to be used for streets, for sidewalks, for traffic lights, going to be used for a light rail in downtown LA, and a partial station. Oh, and the station in Westchester, the military has a term for it. It's a latrine.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, now we'll go to item 2.
You called my name.
Oh, I'm sorry, John. I forgot. I apologize. I did call your name.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. We just put up our predictions from September 15th, 2009 on mayor. Odds-on favorite. This is 4 years ago. Council President Garcetti, every mother's son. He's Mexican. He's Jewish. He's developer-friendly. He's gay-friendly. Needs to work on the black vote. Gets to be the mayor when Antonio's out of town. Real experience. They will call him Mr. President. That's what we said 4 years ago about Garcetti. Now, we're very interested in, we're still researching his 2 missing foster children who simply disappeared off the face of the earth. We would like Mr. Garcetti, please resign. You will not, he's already has permission not to come to any meetings in June because of military service. So, if Garcetti resigns now, Mitch O'Farrell can be appointed to be our city councilman for the month of June. Have decency. You didn't come here for 3 months, Mr. Garcetti, because you were running for office. Herb let you do it. Now all we are asking for you is to resign. We also are going to put up the Union Station picture of Garcetti from a few days ago. Garcetti is surrounded with his male harem of advisors, and a woman is being molested at Union Station. Her backside is being groped while Garcetti smiles and everyone laughs. Now that sounds like psychotic ravings of John Walsh, but the picture is already on the internet, and I found the picture and I will put it up. Remember, Garcetti is not obsessed with being mayor. He is obsessed with the role, the Hollywood role of being mayor. Garcetti, the best I can say about you is you'll be no worse than Mayor Erect Villaraigosa. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Thank you. Now we'll return to the regular agenda. Item 2, Arnold Sachs, John Walsh, Juan Acala. Item 2.
Pass.
Mr. Sachs passes.
No, Mr. Sachs
Walsh
doesn't pass.
Oh.
That's.
Oh, no, it was John that passed.
Pay attention, sir.
No, wait a minute. Wait. Quit being a smart, you know what. And I mean, I misheard it. Yeah, I'm human. I make mistakes. Don't tell me to pay attention. I run these meetings. I pay attention. Hold his time. But I mean, now, if you want to fence with me every day, then come right on and do it. Okay, now you keep your comment, every word, to the subject. Now go on and speak on item 2.
You know, that's fine, sir. But you want to make those kind of rules, you better make those rules.
Look, you're not on the
item.
Okay, you know what? You forfeit your time. Your time is over. He's disrupting the meeting, Sergeant. Show him to the chair. Juan, come on up here and behave. Come on. Okay. Juan passes. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, that brings us to item 3. Okay, Mr. Walsh, Mr. Sachs, and Juan Acala, please come forward. Passed by Mr. Walsh. Mr. Sachs, Mr. Juan Acala. Juan, you're right there. Come forward. Juan, come forward. I don't see. Come on, you're right there. Hurry up.
We don't need any more parades. We need housing for everyone. We need City Hall to stop robbing everybody with parking meters.
Stay on the subject, Juan. It has nothing to do. Stay on the subject, please.
Okay, the subject is parade, right? For the period of May 30, Independence Day parade. There's no independence. Everybody's a slave to City Hall.
He is disrupting the meeting by continued discussion of irrelevancies.
I know he is. Come on, Mr. Sachs.
Yes, thank you.
To the item.
Thank you, sir. This is about installing street banners for the El Sereno concert and fireworks show. Now, other items on today's agenda appropriate funds for those particular items. There is no appropriation of funds for this particular item. There's no appropriation from any funding for it. There's no appropriation from any balance fund. It doesn't come from the unappropriated balance. It's not coming from the street revenue furniture fund. It's not listed as a council office general city purposes fund. It's not listed as a REAP fund. So my question would be A and B. What fund is this coming from? How is it being paid for? It's not included on the council agenda, so maybe somebody could clarify that, Mr. President.
Thank you. Okay. No speakers on the queue. Let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, now we'll move on to item 4, where we have the same 3 individuals. We have Mr. Walsh, Mr. Sachs, and Mr. Akala. Mr. Walsh is approaching the mic.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. This is our most prescient and our best posting of ever.
He is not talking about this item.
This concerns the Conservation Corps Clean and Green Youth Program for various street maintenance efforts in Council District 3. That's Mr. Zine. We're very sorry that Mr. Zine, his days will only be with us for another month. He did an excellent job. I hope that's not considered off the point. The Bureau of Sanitation also does an excellent job in the city. Remember, I learned a long time ago from my parents, if you attack everybody, nothing, they won't listen. But if you say, this is a good job, that's a bad job.
Still not
listen.
I know, but he's connecting
Hollywood
it to
Highlands,
Mr. Zine.
I'm talking about, this is a good job, you're doing a good job, and HollywoodHighlands.org.
I was loosely interpreting that, Mr. City Attorney. Mr. Zine?
I just want to acknowledge Mr. Alarcon, who was one of the first to bring this issue forward, the Clean and Green program, where we employ youth from our communities to go out and clean the community, weeds, trash, etc. So we are moving forward with this. So if you have issues in the Southwest San Fernando Valley District 3, please contact my office, put it on the list, and the Clean and Green program will go out there and take care of those matters. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Zine. Juan Akala, Arnold Sachs.
I guess that's a good idea to have kids clean up the streets and all that. You could also hire homeless people to do that, you know? You could actually do that. And you could give them enough money so they can go buy alcohol at the next place that you give a permit to.
Stay on the subject. Stay on the subject.
Well, I'm just trying to clean up the community. You should first get rid of alcohol. That way you can clean up a lot of things.
He is, again, having an extended discussion of the irrelevancies.
We're trying to clean up society. We got to start from within.
Okay, that Mr. Sachs, and then that will conclude public comment on this item.
Yes, thank you. Good morning again, Arnold Sachs. This is not a bad program, actually, for youth employment, but it doesn't mention the salary they will be paid. Will this be a living wage salary? Will this be a minimum wage salary? Where is Maria Elena Durazo for the $15 an hour salary?
Stay on this subject.
I'm talking about the youth that are being paid, sir, and the salary they will be making. That's part of this item?
Yes, about that.
Okay, so this also includes a transfer to the Bureau of Sanitation, which is an agency of the Department of Public Works. And we heard discussion today, because you had a presentation regarding the Department of Public Works, about the shortages in their budget. Doesn't make sense, but keep the youth working.
Okay, thank you. There are no more speakers. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Forthwith.
Just for clarification, Mr. President, minimum wage on that matter.
Okay.
Thank you.
Item 5, Arnold Sachs, John Walsh, and I believe this is Juan Acala. I'll look to hear from you.
Well, yes, thank you again. And again, we talk about, because we just had budget discussions, the funds that are available and are talked about during the budget and the revenue that is available and not discussed during the budget. As people who are living in the city, you should become more aware and more knowledgeable about the different sources of revenue that are available to the council offices that should actually be available to the council districts. There's a huge difference, a slight perception in council offices and council districts, but a huge difference in how and who gets a voice in how the funding is spent. This is going to be used for supporting council office services to the community, which means personnel to answer the calls.
Thank you. All right. No speakers on the queue. Let's prepare to vote. Oh, John.
Don't worry.
John, I'm sorry.
It's a
I'm sorry again.
Freudian thing.
The third time.
Garcetti's gone now, but while I was speaking, he listened to every single word I said. HollywoodHighlands.org, this is number 5. This concerns Council District 14, that's Jose Huizar's district. For identifications purposes only, Mr. Huizar was the Gruel for Mayor co-chairman.
Come on, let's stay on this subject.
HollywoodHighlands.org, we're all for this. Come to our website and see Garcetti slashing Wendy Gruel's throat. HollywoodHighlands.org, everybody's there.
Thank you. Okay, Juan Acala.
Yes, come to my website, the dollhousezoot.wordpress.com. If you really want to know the truth about what's going on, because we're being fed a bunch of lies since the day we're born. This thing about supporting the community, I don't know. The communities are very loosely supported. In general, most people cannot even afford a place to live. You have to get a job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, just to have a little place. And then you got a bunch of landlords and people around the community telling you that that's not right, this is not right, nothing's right. So we make life very uncomfortable for everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's vote on this item. Let's open the roll. Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Okay, now we're going to return to general public comment. I'm going to call for Gladys Park for the second time. Dow House Dude. Then Melrose Larry Green. Good to see you back.
I'm glad you called me Dollhouse Dude, even though I didn't write it on my card. I wrote my name, which is kind of cool.
No, wait.
Oh.
You know how to read and write. This says Dow House Dude. Okay?
Who wrote that?
I don't know. But now you speak and then cut it with the quips. I called the name that was on the card.
Oh, okay. No, my mistake, I guess. I don't know who I am anymore. Am I Juan Alcala or am I the dollhouse dude? But I'm always talking about the same thing, if you have noticed. Housing for everybody. Everybody should have right here, right in front of them, this request that I made to City Hall. Request to City Hall for allowing me and helping me, Juan Alcala, also known as the Dollhouse Dude, with the creation of the organization named the United World of Free and Clear, dedicated to combating and abating homelessness effectively and permanently forever and ever. Amen. Respectfully, Juan Alcala, also known as the Dollhouse Dude. What am I talking about? The creation of a parallel system where nobody has a landlord, where City Hall cannot take your house because you owe them taxes. A system where everybody works and everybody contributes. A system where we would be much better. Would you please keep it down? Hey. Psst.
Speak
anyway,
into the mic.
A system where everybody actually has a place. You know what a big increase that would be if nobody was paying rent? Everybody would be much, much better off. That's what I'm talking about. We can create something better than we got right now. Let's create it now.
Okay, Melrose, Larry Green to close, and again, it's good to see you. Believe it or not, I was thinking about you last week because I hadn't seen you.
How are you? How are you? Listen, first of all, I'm very offended by some of the comments that were attacking Mayor-elect Garcetti, and I want to go on record as really being offended. I worked very hard 20 years ago when I ran for mayor. I was a lot younger then, and I'm 62. I feel like I'm about 92 some days. And congratulations to Eric Garcetti, who's done a really great job. And don't forget, and I know none of you will forget, many people voted for Wendy Gruhl. Wendy Gruhl is a great person, and I hope that Eric will do something that no one ever does in politics, at least no one I know, and that's reach out to the other side. There are plenty of people that supported Wendy Gruhl that would be great in the Garcetti administration, starting with Wendy. Secondly, those that are leaving, I've known Dennis Zine for many years when he was a motorcycle cop, and I was holding up my Howard Stern signs at Melrose and Highland. And your life is far from over. Politically, there was a guy that was governor of California, a guy named Nixon, and he said when he lost in 1964 to Pat Brown, the father of Jerry, there's no more Nixon to kick around, and about 4 years later, he was in the White House. And as far as Bernard Parks goes, and Joe, and Paul, and all the others who will still be here, there's a lot of work to be done. I work in Hollywood, on Hollywood Boulevard, the belly of the beast. I would gladly serve Mitch O'Farrell or Eric Garcetti if they offered, but I am gainfully employed. I look forward to the next 4 years, maybe 8 years, but there's a lot of work to be done, and the problems are not Democratic and they're not Republican, and they're not Garcetti and they're not Gruhl. I love you guys, but it's no secret, you really run the city, and the mayor serves as the mayor, but you make all the decisions, the men and women of city council. So I'm there if you need me. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, and let's unite the city. Thank you.
You too, Larry, and don't stay away so long the next time, okay?
I don't get a lot of days off.
It is good. It is good to see you. Okay, we'll move our meetings to Saturday.
Well, that would be great.
Okay, Madam Clerk, what business is still before this council?
Council, posting and referral.
Okay, let's post and refer.
That clears the desk.
Okay, announcements. Buscaino.
An invitation to the family here at City Hall. We're going to have an ice cream social to celebrate Public Works Week in my conference room on the 4th floor. Everyone's welcome, including you, Larry. Noon.
Any more announcements? Mr. Zine.
We have Monday, a holiday. We have the Canoga Park Memorial Day Parade. The public is invited to come out and enjoy activities along Sherman Way in Canoga Park. A beautiful parade celebrating Memorial Day. Public is invited. Please come out and enjoy this coming Monday, Memorial Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zine. No more announcements. Could everyone in the council chambers please rise? Please rise for adjourning motions. I'm looking to my left. Any adjourning motions on the left side of the room? Any adjourning motions on the right side of the room? Seeing none, this council meeting is adjourned.
All right.